This is the digital channel of the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. I am Manoj Mainkar, and in the next half hour, I'll bring to you news updates from India and around the world, awareness videos on coronavirus by Government of India, yoga on radio, and a lot more. We'll begin with the news updates.
This is the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. The news read by Maria Albina Michael. The Tour de France will be raced from 29th August to 20th September, organizers announced on Wednesday, postponing cycling's flagship event originally slated to start on 27 June due to the coronavirus lockdown. The new dates follow French President Emmanuel Macron's extension of a ban on large public gatherings until mid-July. The race would follow the same route as the original itinerary, starting in Nice and ending in Paris. The new date solves a series of problems after organizers faced up to the reality that the race could never take place on the original dates. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) on Wednesday has called on all countries to refrain from putting restrictions on exporting medical supplies in view of their massive requirement across the globe to combat the coronavirus pandemic that has killed 119,000 people and infected nearly 2 million. While addressing a press conference at the IMF headquarters ahead of the annual spring meeting of the IMF and the World Bank, the IMF chief economist, Ms. Geeta Gopinath, told that this is not a time to restrict the trade of medical supplies and essential equipment around the world. South Korea's left-leaning ruling party won a landslide victory in Wednesday's general election. Partial results showed after the coronavirus pandemic turned the political tide in President Moon Jae-in's favor. The country uses a mix of first-past-the-post seats and proportional representation. But even before all the individual constituencies were decided, Moon's Democratic Party had taken 163 seats in the 300-member National Assembly, an absolute majority. Its sister party was expected to win another 17 proportional representation seats, due to be declared later today, for a total of 180. Turnout was 66.2% higher than any parliamentary elections held in the South since 1992. COVID-19 has killed at least 131,319 people around the world, with Europe accounting for more than two-thirds of the deaths, according to an AFP tally on Wednesday from official sources. Europe has reported 88,716 deaths, while the United States has the single highest toll at 26,950. The US is followed by Italy with 21,645 deaths, Spain with 18,579, and France with 17,167. In the largest single-day increase, Bangladesh reported 219 fresh cases of corona infection in the country and 4 more deaths, including a physician in 24 hours since Tuesday afternoon. With this, the total number of deaths due to corona in Bangladesh has gone up to 50 and infected cases to 1,231. Announcing this on Wednesday in Dhaka, Health Minister Zahid Maliki said that 49 people have recovered so far. He said that most of the new cases were reported from Dhaka and Narayanganj, Ghazipur, Kernaiganj, and Mymensingh have also reported a sharp increase in corona patients. Aviation giant Emirates has launched a 10-minute coronavirus blood test for passengers departing from its Dubai home base in what it claimed on Wednesday as a first for the industry. The airline resumed limited passenger flights earlier this month after the United Arab Emirates grounded all commercial aircraft. The flights are open to foreign citizens who wish to leave the country, but no incoming passengers are allowed. The blood tests were conducted by the Dubai Health Authority in the check-in area, with results coming out within 10 minutes. We are working on plans to scale up testing capabilities in the future and extend it to other flights, said Chief Operating Officer Adel Al-Ridha. The Indian Meteorological Department IMD announced that it expects monsoon rainfall to be normal this year. Southwest monsoon seasonal June to September rainfall over the country as a whole is likely to be normal, 96 to 104%, the IMD said in the first stage long-range forecast LRF for monsoons. Addressing a press conference through video link on Wednesday, Secretary of Ministry of Earth Sciences Dr. M. Rajivan released the IMD's long-range forecast for 2020 southwest monsoon seasonal rainfall. Good news is that it is estimated that the deficient rainfall will be 9%. This forecast is based on the statistical model. It suggests that we will have a normal monsoon, he said. India is facilitating the return of 180 stranded Pakistani nationals to their home country, official sources said on Wednesday. The Ministry of External Affairs has been helping a number of foreign missions to evacuate their citizens stranded in India after it closed the border crossing points and restricted operation of passenger flights as part of measures to fight the coronavirus pandemic. The Pakistan High Commission here has been in close contact with the Indian side to ensure expeditious and safe return of stranded Pakistanis. Last month, 5 Pakistan nationals returned home via the Attari-Wagah border point. The External Affairs Ministry has said that the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, USCIRF, must stop adding religious color to the country's national goal of fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement, ministry said that no segregation is being done in civil hospitals on the basis of religion, as clarified by the Gujarat government. It also said that USCIRF is spreading misguided reports on the professional medical protocols followed to deal with the spread of COVID-19 in India. External Affairs Ministry statement came in response of USCIRF comment, wherein it said that it is concerned with reports of Hindu and Muslim patients segregated into separate hospital wards in Gujarat. The Union Health Ministry has identified 170 districts as COVID-19 hotspots and 207 districts as non-hotspots, officials said on Wednesday, reiterating that there has been no community transmission of the disease in the country so far. Addressing the daily briefing to provide updates on coronavirus situation in the country, Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Love Agarwal, said that states have been asked to classify districts which have reported a higher number of cases as hotspots. The districts where cases have been reported as non-hotspots and green zones where no cases have been reported. A total of 12,380 confirmed cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country so far. Out of these, 1,489 patients have recovered and have been discharged from the hospitals, while 414 patients have died. And that is the end of this news bulletin.
If the current COVID-19 outbreak has got you feeling stressed out and anxious, then a calming yoga flow can definitely help. We care for your well-being and therefore, we bring for our listeners Yoga on Radio. Practice some easy asanas with Yogacharya Surakshit Goswami and keep yourself healthy and rejuvenated.
Dear listeners, today we will practice Nabhyasana. Nabhyasana is a Sanskrit word referring to a type of posture used in yoga. It is composed of the words nabhi or navel and asana or posture. Nabhyasana helps in reducing fat from the belly, improves the functioning of all digestive organs, besides strengthening the lungs and the heart. Nabhyasana regulates the functioning of the pancreas, liver and kidneys. It also strengthens the back and abdominal muscles. Doing the asana regularly improves blood circulation and also strengthens the muscles of the thighs, hips, arms, neck and the shoulders. Precaution: do not practice this asana if you have migraine, neck pain, back pain, asthma or heart problem.
Lie straight on your back with your feet together and arms beside your body. Relax in this position for some time and keep breathing normally. While inhaling, lift your head, shoulders, chest and upper back, and then raise both the legs. Stretch your arms towards your feet. Your eyes, fingers and toes should be in a line. Try to maintain an angle of 45 degrees with a smiling face. You can feel the tension in your navel area as the abdominal muscles contract. Keep breathing deeply while holding this pose. As you exhale, slowly return to your original position and relax. You can increase the time of holding the posture by practicing regularly.
During lockdown in India, many citizens are voluntarily participating in creating awareness and helping the less privileged.
Namaste. Greetings to the listeners of the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. I am Abhijit Sinha, a senior travel industry professional with over 25 years of work experience in the travel industry. The travel and tourism industry, which was already hit by the economic slowdown in 2019, coupled with macro challenges and geopolitical issues, has been severely hit by the COVID-19 pandemic that didn't take much time to shut the entire world. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council India Initiative and the Federation of Associations of Indian Tourism and Hospitality, the coronavirus pandemic could leave over 38 million people jobless, which is approximately 70% of the total tourism and hospitality sector workforce. According to the Federation, the tourism industry is looking at bankruptcies, closure of businesses, and mass unemployment. It is believed that around 70% of the total estimated workforce of 5.5 crore who are directly or indirectly involved in this industry could get unemployed. Industry associations have also expressed concerns over falling businesses and said that if the impact of the pandemic is not addressed immediately, it could stretch over for years and revival of jobs will become almost impossible. The impact of the deadly outbreak is already being witnessed as job losses and layoffs have started in our sector. With the rise in number of coronavirus positive cases, the economy seems to be heading towards a long-term lockdown. Businesses have literally come to a standstill and everyone is bleeding in an already challenging business scenario. Even if the COVID-19 cases decline, the recovery will take at least 6 months, if not more. Private stakeholders alone will not be able to recover without financial relief from the government. Hence, it has been very, very important for the government to step in and help the industry, which is reeling under this deadly virus. It has been estimated that the tourism industry in India contributes to about 10% of the GDP. It may not be an overstatement to assert that almost all of this revenue may dwindle to a painfully negligible amount if COVID-19 does not come to an halt this year. The industry is desperate for help and support. It's staring at a complete lockdown as of now, which is impacting and will continue to impact so many lives. We need help. Thank you. Keep listening to All India Radio.
Good evening, friends. My name is Aman Kaushik. I'm a management consultant, corporate trainer, and a motivational speaker. We all are going through a very tough environment, which is caused by this COVID-19 pandemic. Governments are doing many things to make sure that citizens are safe, like lockdown, economic activities being stopped. Now, that has put a very undue stress into our life. This stress is caused by the change, unknown, uncertainty, not being in control. But there's one other reason because of which stress is there, and that is our reaction, our action towards it. Now, how can we manage this stress? There are many ways suggested, and I think listening to this program is one of the way you are doing your action onto it. That's listening to this program. Now, you can do an exercise, read, listen to music, watch movies, do something with your life. I think one thing which you can definitely do is plan for future, strategize. In case you are in business, in case you are working, you can do what you want to do post this pandemic. There's one thing which you can also do is, which I call emotional intelligence. And that is a very, very important thing, because until and unless you are rational thinking, you are thinking through logic, then only you are able to manage your stress better. If you continue get swayed by your emotion, which we call emotional hijack, then it is difficult for you to think logically, because emotion will cloud your thinking logic. Now, why do we think in emotions, or why do we give preference to our emotions? The reason lies in our evolutionary past. It is because of our emotion, and the biggest one of them is the fear. We are able to survive. We are able to manage our life, or we are able to survive in those primitive times when there was huge danger to our lives. And that we still carry that. As soon as we fear something, we stop thinking and start thinking of survival. Before I get into what emotional intelligence is, let me give you a little bit more on it. It is not a new thing. It's something which is there for age old. We have called it by different names in our lives. We called it mature. We have called it balanced approach. I like the Hindi word for it quite a bit, which is paripakva or paripakvata, like we say in Hindi. Now, emotional intelligence is now being defined very, very clearly. It is being used in management trainings and management upliftment and management upgrading of leaders and managers and people who deal with customers. The reason being is that it is not only IQ or the intelligence itself which will help manage teams better or manage your one's customers better. It has to be also emotionally managed well. Until we manage people's emotion, it is difficult to manage them logically. So what it is? First, and it can be defined in actually very easy in 4 ways. 1, knowing your own emotion, perceiving your own emotion, where they come from, how do they trigger, and categorize them. Categorize them, what's the good emotion and what's the bad emotion. Not bad emotion. What's the emotion which helps you and what's the emotion which stops you in progressing further. Regulating those emotions, and I'm not using the word not having those emotions. or completely disowning those emotions. Regulating means when you say, I know where my emotions come from. I sometimes act in a manner which is not thoughtful but more driven by emotions. And I'm ready to regulate it, I'm ready to manage it. Understanding other people's emotion, like you have emotions, others have too. And until unless you manage their emotions well, until unless you manage your emotion well, you will not be able to see what's right and what's wrong. And last is giving what I call a lot of value to relationships. If you have all working on all those four concepts and you have a good idea about them, you are emotionally intelligent. And that's very, very important. Now, how does that apply in today's world? Until and unless you manage this fear well of not knowing, of not understanding what will happen to me, you will not be able to put your energies onto the constructive work, the positive thoughts, the things which are in your hand, the way you can manage things. That will be a little bit of a challenge because your emotion will lead you to do things which may not be productive, right? Like being lethargic, like being slow, like being not knowing what to do. And that may be because you are being hijacked by your emotions. You need to control that first. This is what I call feeding the good wolf, right? And not feeding the bad wolf. Both the wolves are inside us. We decide which one we want to be stronger and which one we want to use our life. Thank you very, very much. And I'm sure by this listening to this broadcast, you will be able to understand your emotion better, and you will be able to see how you can apply your emotional intelligence in managing this pandemic and this situation. Thank you once again. Be emotionally intelligent, be rational. We understand that this time will pass too. Thank you once.
The world is grappling with possibly the worst public health crisis seen in more than a century. The COVID-19 pandemic has gripped nations, compelling governments to impose countrywide lockdowns to contain the spread of the deadly virus. Government of India is taking all necessary steps to ensure the well-being of its citizens. The most important factor in preventing the spread of the virus locally is to empower the citizens with the right information and taking precautions as per the advisories being issued by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and World Health Organization. We share with you one such advisory. Have a look. This broadcast came to you from the digital channel of the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.